I grew up around amazing, wonderful black women that I don't know if maybe they sheltered me and didn't expose me to the horrors and the monstrosities that happen in from fucking white people,
Yeah.
doing that shit. But I never saw them that way. And
Yeah.
I hate saying that out loud. Like,
You
like I never saw color, but I didn't have that experience that way.
Can I just say one thing?
Please do.
Like it's not that I is that I've noticed with a lot of people that they are so focused on what makes them comfortable
Yeah.
in that moment that there is not a lot of thought given to what that means for their overall life and their relationships with others and their other friendships and their work and their goals and their dreams. Like you get into a relationship or you get involved with someone and you don't realize how much of your life becomes about them, but that's what a relationship is. It's more than just sleeping with someone. It's you guys becoming a partnership. And I feel like we've gotten so far in this realm of treating relationships as transactional,
Yes.
like Fight Club, like single serving friend. Like
Absolutely.
we're treating each other like single serving relationships. And it's really affected how people really treat each other, man. Like from what I've seen, because you can be super cool with someone and I mean this has been happening forever, not just now, but you can be super cool with someone and then they have someone else come into their life or they get a new job or whatever the case may be, or they move to a different, part of town.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you never hear from them again. You never talk to them again. That
I mean,
fucking sucks.
living in the valley, I just assume people don't exist in Santa Monica. So I'm like, Santa Monica, that must be like that's like a whole other country right there.
Bro, I don't leave downtown.
I ain't driving over there.
I ain't driving nowhere. I just saw the thing today about the metro extending to Beverly Hills
Oh, for real?
as of this weekend.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. They added 3 or 4 stops.
Wow.
But yeah, now you can get all the way to Beverly Hills. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on that.
I
Because it also makes it easier to get, in my opinion, it makes it easier to get to WeHo.
WeHo.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have to go all the way over and
That's right.
up and then over again to get to Hollywood. It's just that straight shot. And if you want to, take another form of transit or
I think it's interesting that you're saying that because like I've been hearing, and I'm just talking about like our bar industry. Like I've been hearing nothing but things like bars are dying in WeHo. Like I just heard recently like Tom Tom closed, and I've heard like the Abbey was like gonna close, but then
Oh,
got new
shit.
ownership, and now it's thriving again. Everything's
Okay.
fine.
I'm
My
happy to
buddy
hear
used to
that.
work at Rage. Rage closed out there.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, all these places are just closing left, right.
Yeah.
I know it has to do with like probably the bounce back of the pandemic, or
Yeah.
not non-bounce back, as the case may be. For some, and it's like I'm just hearing that like so many places that used to be thriving and popping and busting and bustling and busy are now just kind of skeletons.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard the same thing too. I paused because I started thinking of like, I guess, an analogy or metaphor to kind of place it. I mean, this isn't service industry specific, but it is our background.
Mhm.
But also thinking of in relationship terms, it's kind of like a lot of these restaurants had a COVID baby
Yeah.
and they're still trying to live like they didn't have a COVID baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
Yeah.
you're a parent now.
You're a dad.
You
You gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go, dad.
You got responsibilities
Yeah.
and you're not making the same money you used to make. And then next thing you know, their businesses are falling apart. I felt the same way about how people are doing the events like tastings and
Yep.
and just different events now is still going off of this whole word of mouth, maybe a little bit of social media, and then hope for the best.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hope for the best out there.
A lot of hope for the best.
A lot of hope for the best. I feel like we need to start adjusting to the fact that COVID happened.
Huh?
We all, whether no matter what city or state you were in, and I know that things could be different depending on that, but we all went through something. We all had some trauma that we went through, and I feel like a lot of people are still like, you know how they had that one they would call it like the COVID hangover, like if you got COVID and you were sick for longer than when you had
Oh
COVID,
yeah,
and
yeah. The
you got a
lingering
COVID
effects.
hangover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it just feels like a lot of people are still in a COVID hangover.
Sure.
They haven't gotten out of it yet. And that shit really throws me off to a degree because we got the internet and podcasting
Podcasting.
and podcasting, which I feel is this new ish medium as far as bringing back like conversations.
Absolutely.
The last time you were here, we were talking about The Bachelorette, and then, you know, abuse,
Yeah.
and different forms of it, and dealing with it, whether it be self-abuse or spouse, domestic, whatever it could be, but abuse was abuse.
Yeah.
Is abuse, I should say. But also, like, where I'm focusing this conversation is that interpersonal relationships, like, they are what they are, and if you don't put the work into them, like, they're not going to go anywhere. And you can't then turn around and be angry at others for your relationships not going the way that you want them to. Like, you can't be angry at a flower for dying if you didn't water it.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Or if you gave it soda instead of water, so you gotta take care of, your plants, take care of your relationships.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here today. And, whether it goes into backstory or not, yeah, I've been noticing a lot this year, and thank you for being here. Seriously.
Of course. Seriously.
I couldn't think of anyone, not other than one other person, but I'm saying as far as this part of the conversation, I couldn't think of anyone that I could have this part of the conversation.
Right.
My other homie, Michael, shout out to LeBron. We've had a similar conversation to what we're about to have or having. And it was just really not eye-opening, but it was cathartic. To be able to talk about like the things that you've been through and what shaped you, even from, childhood and on.
Sure.
And then recognizing how that manifests in other people as well, So for me, like, I'm from a small town in North Carolina, and, racism is different over there. Like, it's really different. The town I grew up in, the center of town was all white. And a vast majority of the people in the center of town owned land outside of the center of town. But in owning that land, that's where all the black people lived. So all the black people were paying all of the white people to live in that town. And therefore, it was like its own ecosystem, but it was like frozen in time.
Yeah.
Like, we had one grocery store, we had one convenience store, we had two bars, they both shut down. I think I've mentioned this before on the Main Industry Perspective podcast. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But, growing up in that environment in the 90s, there's no social media back then.
It was a massive time for so much social change too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think back on so many of the colloquialisms I was saying in the 90s, and like I look back on it, I'm like, get motherfucking canceled right now if I said any of that shit. God damn. And it's not even half as bad as like the hard line racism that is so prevalent, unfortunately, still today.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching a video earlier before you got here, and they were talking about how this one person was saying in an interview how they and their partner adopted a I think it was a Ethiopian kid, and they were white. older white. And they were just saying how they didn't understand going into it how different the world was going to be for their adopted child compared to their two older white children that they had in their marriage.
Okay.
So they were just like, oh, no, we'll adopt a child because like our kids are older. We don't want to have another kid. Let's take care of someone who needs it. Like,
Right.
and this isn't a criticism of them. Like, however, it's, you know, even on that podcast, they were talking about like, well, for you to not see it is a bit of a choice in itself because that is you saying that everything that you saw up until that point, you didn't fully absorb as far as what racism is and how it presents itself because it hadn't touched you yet. You
Right.
thought, well, my community will be different because it's me, is how it feels. And I think about how when I was a kid, the first experience I could remember, the first two experiences I had with racism happened at vastly different times. The first one, I want to say I was probably about like 6 or 7. And of all things, it was over a song.
Okay.
And you'll never guess what song it is, so I'm not going to ask you.
Fair.
But
You'd be
It's
surprised.
a
I've actually listened to a fair amount of.
oh, no, it's not that. It's just, it's a very well-known song.
Okay.
It is a classic.
Okay.
And it is definitely not the type of song that you think would cause an argument between a black and a white child.
Okay.
But oh boy, did it.
Did it ever?
Oh boy, did it. We fought in the ditch that day. I think I lost because he was bigger than me, and I don't remember it going to a W.
Nobody's bigger than anybody when you got blind rage in your face, though.
You know what? I was more confused than anything, and we were in a ditch, so I don't remember. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I won. But I just remember the fight, the kerfuffle, if you will.
Right.
And we were friends. I thought he was like my best friend at the time.
Sure.
I moved around a lot when my mom was still alive. Like the same way I am as an adult now. I move every couple of years. It's me and my mom.
Yeah.
I just like variety. But there was this one time I had this one white kid. He was in my grade, but he was bigger than me. I remember that. And we were walking back from school. We had got off the school bus and we were on the school bus. We were listening to Baby Got Back.
Okay.
And so when we got off the bus and we were walking, we were both talking about the music video because there's booties everywhere.
Booties everywhere.
Yeah, it's kids fucking dream.
Huh?
And there's a line where Sir Mix-a-Lot says, even white boys can't deny.
It's true.
I know. Because Sir Mix-a-Lot fucking said it.
He's right. Though.
You know that motherfucker punched me because I said that? He was like, it's not white boys. He said, nobody can deny. I was like, that doesn't rhyme.
No.
It's not a part of the song.
No.
It's the way he did it. I was like, no, I know this song.
That's just you like denying.
Yeah,
I
was like, it wasn't like I was saying anything about you being white.
Yeah.
This is Sir Mix-a-Lot said even white boys can't deny. Now apparently, white boys be denying some shit back in the 90s, according to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I mean,
But ass was not one of them.
yeah. Well, I mean that's fair. I would say. I mean, yeah. From my experience growing up white in the 90s, yeah, there was a lot of denying. But also, here's the thing. From my experience of growing up in the 90s, look, man, I played D&D. I was a video gamer. I loved comic books and Magic the Gathering. Like, I had, like you said, if you were on the same bus with me and you were like, even white boys can't, I'd be like, yep, no, totally,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
100%. It
yeah.
was survival mode for me. Like, are you a cool kid who isn't gonna pound me?
I
Yes,
am not.
absolutely.
I am not denying this.
On your
There's
thing.
no way I'm gonna deny this.
Like, yes, 100%, I will never deny. I got your back. I'll be the biggest guy you ever had, man. Like, the 90s was survival mode.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And so, like, when kids, like, and unfortunately, kids, like, said a lot of really terrible, like, colloquialisms. And,
Yeah.
like, you know what? I don't want to be called that because kids in the 90s were, and probably now, I don't know. I haven't hung out with any kids, but, like, it was pack mentality. So one kid calls you something, like, you're stupid. all the kids
Everyone
are going to
called
call
you
you
stupid,
stupid.
yeah.
You gotta be the kid who's going to have to make a decision right in that moment.
Yeah.
Am I stupid and get pounded, or do I flip it on somebody else? Unfortunately, the smaller, weaker kid,
Yeah.
and then turn the pack on him. And
Yeah.
it's like it was all survival mode for me. At least that was my experience. And you know, fortunately, lovingly, I think we all grow out of that as we get a little older and find our communities,
Yeah.
our cliques, and then we just sort of grow out of that. But man, during that time, school's mean.
School is mean.
School is mean.
Kids are mean. School and kids are mean.
You mentioned something to me that really kind of hit me. I was like, I'm gonna try to squirrel that away. I'll bring it up later, but it just didn't. I couldn't look back.
Podcast wise or just conversations?
Just right now.
Okay.
While we were recording, but you mentioned that I'm gonna butcher this. A part of it's a piece of connection. You were talking about when you were living in the outskirts, and then like the dynamic of the town that you were in.
Yeah.
And you were talking about it's a different connection.
Yeah.
Because at that time in the 90s, we had a connection between two people.
Yes.
And then to bring it back to before that, you were saying Pete has, such a connection right here. And that is, I mean, that's a massive problem even in itself.
Yes.
I would say right now with everybody is we're so glued and connected to devices that there is no interpersonal connection.
One of the things I've said, which great point. One of the things I've said quite a bit is I feel that I am one of the few generations or a part of one of the few generations that can say, I don't want to be born in another time. Other than if I could be born in the future and have more stuff. I mean, and space travel is like, I wish I could do that.
Let's go.
That's my shit. But in terms of, I don't want to go back to the past and live in a different time. For one, I'm black. But for two, I also think about how my experience was being born in the 80s and growing up in the 90s compared to kids who were born in the 90s and grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, and just how that shapes their mind. Because 9/11 happened when I was in high school.
Same. Yeah.
And for them, it was like, they were in school, but they were like, they didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And then the whole world changed after that.
Yeah.
Not for the better.
I think we got the internet 97?
Somewhere in there. It
somewhere in there. Early.
Yeah.
Like
to where everyone had it. Yeah.
Right.
To where everyone had it to that point where you could get the AOL disc and shit like that. Yeah. Absolutely. I felt like that was around that time. Obviously we could be wrong, and who gives a fuck? We're not a history podcast. But there was definitely a distinct difference between that time, like 80s babies and 90s babies, in the terms of I was in high school and I had friends who would lie about being related to celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or hearing a
I'm Dr. Dre's cousin or some shit. Yeah, I heard that so many times.
Dude, it was, bro, for me, because we were so close to Atlanta, it was Usher. Everybody was Usher's cousin because Usher was the hot shit at that time. And I mean, he still is. So I mean, shout out to him, I guess. I don't know what's going on with Usher. I don't follow celebrities anymore. It's too much. But yeah, just like, growing up with no internet access to that extent, the Oregon Trail generation, so to speak, like I was too busy getting dysentery.
Get left behind with dysentery.
I had a lot of problems going on.
I always made a doctor or a hunter so I could kill all the buffalo. Make sure I had food.
I would do hunter and I would kill buffalo, but I think I made it to the end of the trail a couple times, but none of my family made it. Which is kind of like real life. I made it over here, but I made it alone.
I'm gonna have to let you go.
Yeah, basically. But I just remember, like, having that one experience with that kid, and then my next real experience with racism was later on when I was probably about 11 or 12. I had these friends, Alex and Ryan. I still remember their names because they're the ones who actually taught me about comic books.
Oh.
and got me into Marvel over
Yeah.
DC because the characters just are a little better in Marvel, in my opinion.
My opinion.
But also, I just remember Alex was like, "You're gonna love X-Men." He didn't say because you're black.
Sure.
He's a kid,
Sure.
but it was implied, and I got it because X-Men is. I mean, it's basically Malcolm X and
But I mean,
fucking
yeah, I
Martin
mean,
Luther
like
King.
basically
And
the entire
about
point
racism, like-
of X-Men was all about inclusivity,
exactly.
and here are the people that aren't the inclusives, and here are the people, here are all the widespread generations that are. Yeah.
Like I was taught, I was indoctrinated very early on to be gracious and understanding of my rainbow friends.
Totally.
You know, because they were going through the same thing I was going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also appreciated Alex and Ryan for being the ones who showed me this because none of my friends read comics.
Sure.
And I just thought it was really fucking cool, like seeing all these different characters. And I mean, you could be so many different things in a comic book.
Yeah.
And like we would just sit there and fucking read comics during class, after class. And we were, me and Ryan were on the same school bus. Alex wasn't on our bus.
Okay, fair.
But I will never forget, obviously, because it stuck with me for this long. But the second time I really saw racism, I went to Ryan's house to play basketball with him. He lived in the center of town. And the way the town worked was linear like this. And this is the center.
Yeah.
I lived basically like here.
Good.
And Ryan lived here.
Yeah.
So I would ride my bike like 1.5 miles, 2 miles into the center of town. And when I went to go play ball with Ryan, we were playing ball. His mom was there and his little sister was there. But his dad wasn't. And then his dad came home.
Oh.
And when his dad came home, I said hi. I'm from the South.
Sure.
We're in the
Yeah,
South.
Of course.
You say hi to adults.
Hello, sir.
Especially the man of the house.
Hello, sir.
I was like, hello,
ma'am. Yes, sir.
He didn't say anything to me. He walked into the house. And then his mom, the wife, the mom, walked out maybe about 30 seconds to a minute later.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And then they called Ryan in. And 15 seconds later,
time for you to go
I
home.
got sent home.
Yep. Time for you to go home. Yep.
And Ryan never spoke to me again. Not in class, not on the bus.
God damn.
Never spoke to me again. And I was just like, hey, like I didn't know why they sent me home, obviously, because they made an excuse like, oh, we got to get ready for dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just remember whenever I would try to hang out with Ryan on the bus or talk to him on the bus, nothing.
Yeah, man.
Wouldn't talk to me in the class. He would still talk to Alex, and Alex would still talk to me. But then eventually Alex stopped being able to speak to me because him and Ryan were best friends before me. So he had to make a choice. And I just remember he gave me my first X-Men comic after that. Like, let me have one. He was just like, yeah, keep reading these. And I read them for a while until my friends bullied me out of it. Probably like I was around 15, maybe 16.
Sounds about right. Yep.
You gotta start reading that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Read this real stuff.
Yeah. But that always stuck with me, man. Like, not just the racism of it or whatever, but something that I like to call I don't even really have a name for it, but I kind of think of it like a back of the bus, like a back of the bus mentality, but not in a way that it might sound offhand.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like
I have my own idea, but
okay.
Dude, I'll tell you mine after you.
Okay, all right. So for me, the way I view it is when I first moved to that small town, I was only Afro-Latino there. So you're either black or you're white.
Right.
I'm Afro-Latino. I got curly hair, as you can see. So for them, they were just like, what are you? So a lot of times I get called Mexican or whatever. So the black kids didn't like me.
Right.
Because when I first got there, I was like, oh, I want to sit in the back of the bus. And they were like, nope.
Yep.
I got bullied by a girl.
Sure.
To this day, I still remember she called me a bunny rabbit. And I never understood the insult. But everyone said, ooh. And I was like, God damn,
Yeah.
it's bad to be a rabbit? Cool.
Yeah.
I immediately went to the front of the bus because I was tired of getting bullied.
Yeah.
But this is elementary school when I moved there.
Sure.
By the time I got to be a junior in high school, I had worked my way from the front of the bus all the way to the back of the bus.
Fair.
And along the way, I got to know everybody that I could. That by the point I got to the back of the bus, I could talk to anybody.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what's helped me. Like, it sucks to say that racism ended up creating some kind of a silver lining, but had I stayed in the back of the bus, I would have always had a back of the bus mentality.
Sure.
But because I started at the front of the bus and worked my way to the back of the bus, I knew everyone. I knew I knew the nerdy kids in the front of the bus that nobody liked, which is why I got sent there. The misfits were at the front because you're closest to the bus driver. That's where you're the safest. I wasn't.
Really?
Bro.
Oh, that's
the fucking bullies.
That's it. So,
oh, really? That's how it was for you?
Up in my, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
get there.
for us, it was the back of the bus that's where everybody else is hanging out. That's where you learn how to crack jokes.
Okay.
That's where you learn how to fight.
Uh-huh.
Everything's back in the bus. That's for the fucking killers. You don't come back there unless you bring something to the table.
That's yep.
Yeah, and I love that shit. Especially now. But when I was a kid, I remember when I realized I needed to make my way back to the back of the bus, was the biggest bully on our school bus. Walked on the school bus one day and I was sitting at the front and he just smacked the shit out of the back of my head, like hard as fuck, in front of the bus driver. Didn't give a fuck. He was like, "You still gonna take me home?" Because he was bigger than the bus driver.
Yeah.
He drove that bus. And I was just sitting there like, why you hit me like that, Charlie?
Man, that shit hurt.
Bro, I was like, why you hit me like open palm too?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bam.
Yeah, he made a crack.
Yeah. I was just like, what? Why you do me like that, bro? But yeah, I've been talking for a while.
I can.
Yeah,
That's why.
I've been talking for a while. But yeah, it basically that's what it was.
Fair.
It's because he could, and he didn't like the cut of my jib, so to speak, you
Fair.
know? And I see a lot of that in today's society because it seems like a lot of our social media and our government is run by the type of person who would hit a defenseless little kid in the back of the head just because he could.
Yeah.
Was my point. So
Fair.
I hand that to you.
So I guess this is the makeup of my bus. And I think it actually kind of tracks to really a lot of my perspective on life. So very similar to what you were saying. The kids that were the problem, they hung out in the back. I mean, I remember being a kid. All right, so I'll say my position first. Me and my crew, my guys that I like to hang out with, the nerds, the artists, the dreamers, the leaders, the writers, and games and whatnot. We sat in the middle. For us, the middle was safety.
Same.
It was quick enough we can get to the front.
Same.
If we have to get pushed to the back, we can get back there too. Like, we got to jump out the windows.
Yeah.
We can do that, whatever. But the middle was the safety. Behind us, we called that King's Court. All those kids back there were holding court, just like you said. Like we knew deals were going on back there. We knew that there was fucking there. Like you got the answers to so and so's tests. You only have that shit. Like things were happening back there. I knew there was like kids were smoking cigarettes back there. Back when we were like, you can do that.
You do that. Yeah.
And then I make these 2 points. Like in the back, those are the kids that are the problem. Kids in the front, those are the kids that are the actual problem. Those are the kids that are like, those kids are bound for boys ranch. They are
Really?
like, you will sit in the front and you will sit next to the bus driver and he has to kick you off. He will.
Oh,
Like
you are what?
You are in cuffs without cuffs right now, basically.
Yeah.
These are the kids that are destined for unfortunate ungreatness.
I think they were the same bus then. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Then you get your grades going down. Like the kids kind of mellow, and then they get to us in the middle, and then they're getting a little more to the back. Those kids that were like, just where I happen to grow up. Because I started my journey in the South in Georgia, and then I moved out in early 1990, and grew up in Sacramento, California.
Oh wow.
And just kids there, like all like the grade A students, the smart kids, like, nah, man, their moms left work early to come pick them up. We're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I guess that's cool. I guess I'm gonna ride this bus home.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the bus dropped me off like at the streetlight because you come from the same generation I did. You had to be home when the streetlights came on.
That was not the case for me.
No, it's not the case for you.
You gotta remember, I had
Right.
legal guardians.
Oh, all right, all right,
As
all
long
right.
as the check cleared, they didn't give a fuck where I was.
All right, fair.
Yeah, that's. I digress. Go
All
ahead.
right, all right, fair. Well, the street it would drop me off near the streetlight. So
Yeah.
me and my buddies would get off, and we go to any one of their houses that are like
Yeah.
three blocks down or so. And we'll play games or video games or whatever the newest like number munchers I think came out. And we were like all ecstatic about it, And then streetlights came home, and I had to walk home or bike home or however it was. But yeah, that bus, like I remember there were terrors on that bus, like. The bus.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm out of that. You mentioned your first two experiences with racism. I struggle to remember a lot of mine because, when I was very, very young, my mom was working in the public library of Georgia County and or Atlanta County, excuse me. And we, when she was going to work, like she was going to be there for, good God, I think it was like 8, 9, 10 hours, something like that. So she left me with a babysitter, and babysitter's name, God, I'm gonna mess it up. Miss Ethelene, I think was her name. Sweetest woman in the world. I didn't even know until I could even have the social construct to understand black and white. That she was the most loving black woman I've ever had the pleasure of being around. I was around her hours and hours out of my day. I mean, that was daycare for me, basically.
Yeah.
Was hanging out at Miss Etherine's house, and she loved all my stuffed animals that I had. She remembered every single one of their names. We dressed them up. We ran around the house. We played board games. Most of the time, she just fed me a lot of really great food, and I passed the fuck out.
Yeah.
Miss Etherine, I loved her so great. I had two more. All of them were the same. Were wonderfully sweet, absolutely amazing black women.
Were they, if you could remember back to the relationship, were they like your mom's friends, like neighbors?
They used to be coworkers at the time.
Okay.
And I think they separated to like different libraries. Both my parents worked in libraries. My mom was in the public library section, and my dad was in like sort of like the administrative statewide building. My dad was more of like an architect to build new libraries in all different places in the city. Until he we all moved out to the state, into California. He started working for the state, doing the same thing, but just on a statewide level.
Okay.
My mom always stayed kind of like in public libraries, and then she started working at school libraries because my mom wanted to be able to get off work at the same time that I'm getting out of school.
Well,
so
yeah,
we can hang out.
Good mom.
She was a great mom.
Yeah.
But I think it was also smart too. It's like, well, we don't have to pay for daycare at that point.
Right.
That'll be amazing. And so I grew up around amazing, wonderful black women that I don't know if maybe they sheltered me and didn't expose me to the horrors and the monstrosities that happen in from fucking white people.
Yeah.
Doing that shit. But I never saw them that way. And I hate saying that out loud. Like I never saw color, but I didn't have that experience that way.
Can I just say one thing?
Please do.
It's not that I want to get away from people saying like I hate to say something or feeling a certain way. And I'm not trying to like excuse anything for anyone. But there's one line of dialogue that I've never really heard people actually say, which is, "Oh, you grew up in the American dream where you didn't see color because it wasn't presented to you.
Yeah.
So you grew up the way we're supposed to. Now we're being put in this position, or not even now, but it seems like people who grow up with blinders because the people around them cared enough for them to try to make sure that they had the upbringing that would create a good human without worrying about all of these other social constructs.
Yeah.
oh, so you mean you were raised right, as they would say? It's like that's not something we're supposed to be upset about.
Yeah,
We should. What I feel is happening is that what has been kind of switched, and it needs to be switched back, is that people who grow up afforded the opportunity to be blind
uh,
are then told to feel guilty for being blind later. And it's like, no, I'm not saying you're not supposed to feel bad or you are supposed to feel bad. What I'm saying is, isn't that what every kid wants? Isn't that what every kid deserves? Isn't that what we're supposed to be trying to give every child? Instead, we keep putting kids into the same sandboxes we grew up in.
right.
And then when someone grows up with an opportunity to not see color because it was never shown to them,
That's right.
they then as an adult are taught, no, you should feel bad that you didn't see color. It's like, well, I'm actually more appreciative of the people who did the best they could to give you the best that they could.
Right.
So I just wanted to, kind of interject that because
Of course.
there are other people out there who could like see themselves in your story. And this isn't a conversation of white people are supposed to be feeling bad or black people or anyone's supposed to be
Yeah.
feeling bad. It's literally racists are supposed to be feeling bad.
Yeah, let me jump in there because I think I hear what you're saying, and I also think a lot of it has to devolve back into context.
Mm,
Because some people should be like, I don't see color. Be like, yeah, but you clearly
yeah.
think lesser of some people and higher of others. So,
Yes.
but for me, like, I mean, I was like 3, 4, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
I still hope to believe that 3 and 4-year-olds are so innocent that like they can just like, you're taking care of me, okay? As long as I get fed in my nap, I'm good. Miss Etherian did that for me. So that was my very first like couple of experiences. Her Cubby, that was her. That was the other one's name, Miss Cubby. Ah, thank God, it was gonna kill me. And I know there's one more, and I can't remember her. And my mom's gonna kill me. That
Might come to you later. You never
might
know.
come to me later, and I'll put it in the comments section. Think of it. But they were so wonderful to me. And then Dad got a new job out in California. We moved out to California, and my first best friend, his name is Blake.
Excuse me.
And Blake was mixed. We met in kindergarten, so I couldn't tell you what it was. Like we didn't have that discussion. Like, oh,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I just remember that Blake's family was mixed. And he was my best friend. And we had this thing that we did in kindergarten where when we called roll, like the teacher would be like, Nando here,
Yeah.
Kyle here, Blake here, take roll, and then she'd hand it to
Balake.
one. Yeah, Balake. Yeah. She would hand it to one kid, and every kid got a turn.
Yeah.
She would hand it to one kid, and then that one kid could pick their buddy system, basically, their friend. And they would go take it to the office, hand it off to the secretary, and they had to come right back. And because of the structure and the situation of where like the kindergarten setup was based to the office, like she basically just held the door, watched us go in, and then watched us come back. So it wasn't like
You're not home in a hole.
been gone for like 20 minutes. Yeah, what the hell?
Where's Balake?
Yeah, exactly. So like, but every single time, I picked Blake because Blake was my best friend. Now I had other buddies too. Like I had buddies like Tim and I had Mike and Jesse and everybody, but like Blake was my best friend. So I was like, Blake, let's go. And he's like, okay.
I'm loving all these names, by the way.
Right? Yeah. And so
it's a very safe school.
I mean, we just didn't have anybody named,
yeah, it's cool.
I don't know. We didn't have Shaquille come to our school. I don't know. I mean,
if he did, it was the one Shaquille.
the one Shaquille.
The one.
Yeah.
And he was doing some kind of charity outreach. I don't know.
Yeah, so Blake and I always went. And I remember coming back after a couple of times doing that, and people would make fun of us, like, why you always got to pick Blake? Like, what do you mean, why do I always got to pick Blake? He's my best friend. You guys always pick your little clique best friends, whatever. Like, what's the problem? Like, people always gave me the most shit. Like, it just felt overwhelming. I never put 2 and 2 together. I don't know if like I'm putting 2 and 2 together now, or if people were just kids were being mean.
Yeah,
but I would hope kids aren't being like, why you got to pick Blake?
Well,
Why can't you pick me?
it sounded more like they were being mean.
It's not, yeah. So that was my transition.
They heard the name Blake, but they saw Blade
Yeah.
They're like, why are you with this daywalker?
Right.
He's not one of us. And yeah, that's the part that sucks.
I think my first real experience. Probably a family member said the word. I heard it and I was like, oh, what's that? And I never said anything. Later in life, I'm in elementary school and I'm friends with a buddy named Tim. And Tim turns around while kids are playing basketball. And this is like the end of school and kids are kind of playing while parents are like funneling through the parking lot instruction system to like come pick them up and whatnot. And Tim says, yeah, whatever, you dirty, to a kid. And I'm seeing this kind of from afar, and basketball stopped.
Well, yeah, it usually does.
All kids, I mean, all the kids.
Yeah.
Not just. I'm not sure who he said it to. Well, I know who he said it to, but I don't know what that kid's name was. But everything stopped, and there was like a swarming in.
Yeah, because there's going to be a fight.
Now Tim went home.
Oh,
he went home.
Oh,
and I found out later the biggest ass woman he took was from his dad.
Ooh. Yo, shout out to that dad.
Shout out to dad.
Shout out to dad.
And apparently,
I did not think that story was going to end that way.
And apparently, there were two ass whoopings that happened by dad because he never got his ass kicked in school. Because we were in like fifth, sixth grade, something like that.
Okay.
Which you should get your ass kicked.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn a lot.
You should know better, but if you don't, you will learn.
Tim got his ass kicked at home, and then apparently he may or may not have said it again. I'm not sure, but I remember being with a hall pass. I was going probably either to or from the bathroom. And I saw Tim's dad coming in hot. And he charged into the office. And I've never heard a door go whack like that. So I can only imagine. I think the story I heard from my mom later is, yep, Tim's dad got called out of work. And he was a working man. This guy was a blue-collar working man. This guy was probably like coming off a construction site or something. Kicking in the principal's office being like, where the fuck is my kid so I can beat the shit out of him?
You know the craziest part of that story?
Tim's
dad's best friend's name is Shaquille.
Probably.
I was hanging with Shaq, and you gonna bring me in for this bullshit? Yo,
I remember that shit, and that really stunned me. But when I heard the word that time, I brought it home and I asked, "Hey, Mom, what is this?" And both of them were like, mute the TV.
Yeah. So
where did you hear this?
We're gonna have to have a talk.
And we had the talk.
That's parenting.
And that was I would like to say thankfully, hopefully that was good parenting. But like they sat me down like, do you understand the history of this and why this happened?
Yeah, that sounds like good parenting.
Like, okay. And they sat me down and we talked about it. I think we looked at some books, they sat with me and were like, we need to educate our son in this moment right now. And I didn't. And I would hope if they were to hear this story, be like, yeah, we remember that. Let's add some details to it. That they would say, because I don't think I said it, Mom, what is this? Like, let me get some gusto into it. No, I was just like, hey, Mom, I heard this.
You're like, Mom, what is?
I heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna get the maximum.
If I get the one time ever I get to say it, I'm gonna use it like this.
Don't be mad at me. I'm just sorry. This is fucking funny. This is fucking.
But I asked the question. I was like, "What is?"
Yeah.
And they sat me down and they parented me that day, and that was my experiences, dude. Now, growing up,
shout out to them, man. Seriously,
thank you.
I mean that. I really mean that.
I for all the love and codependency they've instilled in me.
I mean, if you have,
they gave me some good parenting.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, and it probably is because I didn't grow up with parenting. If I had an overbearing parent at this point, I'd be like, damn, at least I had someone who loved me. like the grass is always greener, dude, so I feel like that also reiterates my point from before of the fact that your parents did the best that they could to equip you with everything they felt that you needed.
Yeah.
You can't then turn around and be like, not you, for other people, like you can't turn around and just be like, oh, I'm so sorry that I never got to see colors. Like, no, that's not something you're supposed to be sorry for. Like, the problem with rich kids isn't that they're rich.
Right.
It's that they're not taught what being rich really is.
Right.
The problem with racist people, from my account, growing up the way that I have,
Yeah.
is that the majority of it, they don't even know where the racism's fucking coming from.
Oh yeah.
It's just something that's said, and no one ever educates anyone.
That's right.
You know, and I mean, just to, you know, switch it over where it's not just about racism, you know, for some people out there, when they eventually find us and try to, you know, talk shit about pandering or virtue signaling,
Sure.
you know, let's switch over to fucking chauvinism and all this other shit. Like, we don't have any women here to speak for their side of it.
Never
And
have any
we have-
fucking women here.
Well, shout out to Eli and Tams because they were on the
great,
industry
yeah.
perspective recently, and I love them so much. Thank you again for being there. Excuse me, but I'm just saying, as far as I don't want to speak for someone who's not in the room in this particular instance.
Sure.
So, you know, you can call it whatever you want, anyone who tries to come at me, but I do look at it like, a lot of this shit is born of someone wanting to feel cool and wanting to feel funny. Because when I hear that Tim's dad beat his ass for being a piece of shit and then was mad that he got called in to school, you know, like that is a father who was fucking trying.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that doesn't sound like a father who said, I told you not to say this in front of people."
That's
like,
also signaling to me that like Tim didn't learn his lesson the first time.
right. Which
know?
then begs the question of who was Tim hanging with.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't know who Tim's friends were at that point and who those friends' fathers were.
Right.
If Tim's dad is at work being a good husband, being a good father, or whatever it is he's being,
Right.
for Timmy to have the life that he had.
Right.
But this other dad is just sitting on the couch saying racist shit.
Right.
Well, where's Timmy gonna pick it up at? My
Right.
dad's always at work. I don't get to see my dad unless he's whooping my ass.
But Uncle
for
Bill
the
here is
thing-
drinking beer and saying the N-word all the time.
Right.
You know?
Everyone over there laughs when I say it, and then my dad kicks my ass when I say it.
I don't know.
What's up, my boy? How you doing?
Oh, what up, dude?
Good to see you, fam. Yeah,
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, doggies!
We'll make sure we tag the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll make sure we tag the dog in the video.
Yes.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
No, you can come back.
That
That's
way.
okay.
There you go. But yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like it's very much like, oh, you can't have that.
Hey, stop drinking.
That's my job. but yeah, like it's you can't fault Tim's dad for doing his best to be a good dad.
Right.
You can only fault whoever taught Tim's friends and whoever.
Smooth music now.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Unless you start turning it up, then I gotta move. But that's good. No, you're good. Appreciate it. It's a better soundtrack than what we were listening to.
Sure.
But yeah, dude, it's just like that, and that's kind of my point. Not even kind of my point. That really is my point. That really is my point as far as like, okay, it starts at home.
Yeah.
That is my overall.
That is an incredible, like, small, like, collapsed sentence to make a larger issue much more brighter.
Yes.
Like, it starts at home.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and regardless, you know, it can even be like your parents may not necessarily have to be like super racist, but if your parents are like career working people, both of them, and you don't have anybody that's home with you, what are you learning through? I mean, in today's society, like, both mom and dad are working, so I'm just left with, I don't know, Genetica, whatever her name is, in the kitchen or watching TV, and I'm just left to my device. What am I sifting through? Hopefully, I'm not, you know, a dumb kid who's just like found his way to 4chan. But
And it might, but then again, it's not even dumb kid. It's just an inquisitive kid,
Yeah.
you know, or their friend is the one who sent them the link, or their friend is the one who told them about the site or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many more things that go into it now compared to how it was when we were growing up. And that's why I say I'm very appreciative to have grown up when I did, because that's I didn't have to grow up with all of this, you know.
Right.
Like my racism had overtness, but it was also blatant.
Yeah.
Now you don't even know what racism is sometimes because the people who are perpetrating it don't even know that they're committing it. And there's also
Yeah.
a classism aspect that goes
Yes.
into it too, because just to take it a step further, not moving past chauvinistic thoughts, but like you said, classism earlier or something along those lines, bro, like you got people being taught, oh, I make more money than them, or my family has more money than them, so they're less than them, or
That's right.
they serve me. And like, how are we supposed to have neighbors if we're only looking at neighbors as whether or not they work?
Yeah. How much? Like we're only looking at our neighbors based on how much they make or don't.
Yeah,
You know.
or what I can make off of them.
Yeah. Right.
That's
That is a dangerous slippery slope to have a conversation about when it's like I'm only friends with you based on what I can get from you.
Well, being in LA, we deal with that a lot.
Well, that's exactly we're in the city of that. So
We are in the city of quid pro quo. There you
Yep.
go. City of quid pro quo.
pro
It's,
quo.
what am I getting out of this? If I'm not getting anything out of it, then I'm sorry, I can't support it. But again, that's why I'm so appreciative that you're here for this conversation.
yeah.
But
Well, when
I
you,
need
came
to
running
hang-
at, when you came running at me, being like Riggs, and I'm like, the fuck is happening right now, Riggs? And I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. Like, what are you trying to do? I mean, and then by the end of that, I was like, buddy, I am too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.